Let's talk about Richard Grenell. Who the hell is Richard Grenell? He is the U.S. ambassador to Germany, appointed by Trump to that post. He is to be confirmed, or no, he doesn't need to be confirmed, because he will be the acting head of national intelligence. He was confirmed by the Senate as the ambassador to Germany. The current acting director of national intelligence, see, Trump just makes them acting so they don't have to go before the Senate and answer embarrassing questions. But the current acting director of national intelligence, Joseph Maguire, who would have had to step down by March 12th because he lacked Senate confirmation, was, according to the Washington Post, quote, blindsided by the news that his replacement has been named and his replacement starts, I don't know, today. A lot of people in the Intelligence Committee in the United States were stunned by Trump appointing this jackass. I mean, for real, he's just a total fuckwad, just like all of Trump's acting appointments are scum. They're just scum. But this is how Trump operates. Grenell will take responsibility for all 17 intelligence agencies today. So, Mr. McGuire, pack your bags and get the fuck out of my office is probably the message you got from Grenell. Now, this guy can only hold the office for only 210 days under something called the Federal Vacancies Reform Act. At the end of 210 days, either he has to pack up and make way for the next acting director, or submit to a Senate confirmation hearing, or Trump will appoint another asshole acting. Now, let me just get into Grenell just a little bit, because this fascinated me. I don't know if you're aware of this, but Richard Grenell, the government of Germany, to which he was our U.S. ambassador, refused to do any kind of contact with him because his embarrassing half-assed statements about the German prime minister, what's her name? German prime minister, Angela Merkel. I've had name groping my entire life. But Angela Merkel, her government, now remember, Angela Merkel is from back in the bad old days. She grew up in East Germany under Soviet domination at the end of World War II. And so she knows about totalitarianism. She knows about fascism and racists. And just as a side note, yesterday in her country, a right-wing crazy fuck who probably got his training here in the United States murdered 9 people who were immigrants who did nothing except go find a place to live. But I digress. Grenell has no real intelligence experience. He's never run a bureaucracy. His most relevant experience, I'll get to what I was going to say in a second, his most relevant experience to head a U.S. intelligence community are his 2-year ambassadorship to Germany and a long stint as a spokesman for the U.S. mission to the United Nations under George W. Bush. And then Trump sent him, when Trump became president, with the help of the Russians, Trump sent him to Berlin. But before Trump sent him to Berlin, this Grenell was known mainly as an online media critic and conservative Fox News foreign policy dude. So here we are again with the Fox bullshit. And so one administration official told the Associated Press that, quote, Grenell was named in an acting capacity because Trump wanted him in quickly, and there were doubts about whether he could be confirmed in the job, end quote, which is true of so many Trump appointees. Now, the New York Times notes that the Director of National Intelligence is, quote, a job considered to be among the most nonpartisan in Washington. But by picking this man, Trump is signaling, quote, he wants a trusted, aggressive leader atop the intelligence community, a community that Trump has long viewed with suspicion because, you know, they all put out fake lies about him. I mean, real lies, but fake news about him. And also, the reason Trump picked Grenell, the list of people with the requisite experience who have not been critical of the president is slim. Most people in the intelligence community with the experience necessary to be the DNI know that Trump is just a useless, worthless fucker who is destroying everything. They don't want to work for him. Would you? Now, Grenell is also considered to be a gold-level member of the Trump Organization's Trump Card Loyalty Program, which means he spends a lot of money in Trump's hotels. He is the third Fox News, the Fox Sewer contributor. And here's the part I was going to get to, and this is kind of a jolt to me. He's the first homosexual member of Trump's cabinet. Now, the reason that just stopped me in my tracks when I found out that he is a homosexual is the fact that Trump is worshipped by these crazy, fucking insane evangelical Christians. You know, the average evangelical will tell you that Trump was ordained by God to destroy America, really is what's going on. But these Christians want destruction because they have this fucked up idea that if there is enough death and blood and destruction here on earth, their Savior, not the standard Christian Jesus rabbi of Nazareth, not him, but their Jesus, a sick fuck who looks like a model from Sweden, that he's going to come swooping down because there's so much blood and destruction. Oh, goody, goody, goody. And then all the cemeteries will open up their putrid contents, and the housewives who love Trump the Christians will all rise to heaven in the rapture along with these corpses that are probably falling apart as they travel up, whatever. But the Christians, the evangelical Christians, look at gays as homosexuals as spawn of Satan, unless they're lesbians. If they're lesbians, the Christian white men love them. Oh, I like those videos, you know, where they do each other. Oh! But if they're gay men, the Christians go berserk. They have something called reparative therapy, where you're supposed to be able to be converted away from being a homosexual into being a heterosexual, which is the most insane fucking horseshit ever invented by these fucking Christians. It's the worst thing. Can you imagine taking a heterosexual man who loves his sex life and putting him in a therapy situation where he is forced to become homosexual? That's what this so-called Christian reparative surgery horse shit does to a gay man. Tries to force him into becoming something he can't be. But that's how dedicated these fucking Christians are to the destruction of homosexuality. So, does this guy suffer from Stockholm Syndrome? Now, every report I've read on Mr. Richard Grenell is that he is just a bitch. He's just mean and hateful and snipey and always looking for revenge and to fuck people up and to make them look embarrassed, which leads me to believe that he has so much trouble with his homosexuality that he projects all of this shit out to make other people as miserable as he is. Well, I wonder what's going to happen now. Obviously, to me, he suffers from Stockholm Syndrome. You know what that is, where you identify with your captor, your torturer, the people who are making your life miserable. So he has become, over the course of his homosexual life, an absolute apostle of right-wing madness, of neo-fascist politics. He loves Trump. He worked for John Bolton for a while at the UN. He is a vicious son of a bitch by all reports that I have read. Vicious, vindictive. So when these fucked up Christians stop celebrating Trump's acquittal and realize that Trump just appointed a homosexual. You know, most of the people that work for Trump are hobosexuals. Hobosexual. What is that? That's a fucking bum. That's what that is. But this guy is a... Oh, you're not... Oh, I'm sorry. This guy is a homosexual. And the Christians are going to lose their shit over this. They're just going to lose their shit. Where they find out that Sean Hannity is gay. Woo! That's going to rip their goddamn brains right down the middle. Oh, I'm sorry, they don't have brains. They're thinking pods or whatever, you know. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. As you know, we've switched formats and are now broadcast exclusively on the Progressive Voices Network. So that means you get fewer program interruptions, no corporate commercials, and lots of profanity. But our format change also means some of our radio listeners no longer hear the program. It's been a while since I mentioned our podcasts, so you may have forgotten that there is a way to listen to this program anytime you need a good dose of screaming. Visit MikeMalloy.com and subscribe to our podcast. You have your choice. You can listen to the ranting with the audio podcast or listen and watch me lose control with a video podcast subscription. As a podcast subscriber, you can download the program to your mobile device and take me with you wherever you go. And if you have a friend who needs a dose of truth-seeking, you can give a gift subscription as well. That's MikeMalloy.com. And never miss a minute of the uncensored fun and frivolity.